Welcome to another episode of Breaking Kayfabe. I'm Saucy, and today I'm here with another great handler in this hobby. She goes by the name Leah, and she handles a few different characters. Sarai is the one that I know. Leah, what other characters are you handling right now?
I'm handling most of Sarai's family, mainly her sisters Isabella, and Marisol, who are twins.
Okay.
Her mother Juanita. A multitude of Sarai's kids. She has a lot of kids.
Okay.
And two of her nieces, Daniela and Jasmine.
Gotcha. You said Marisol. Is that Marisol Valaro, or is it a different Marisol?
Different Marisol.
Okay. So there's two of you.
Yeah. I think Marisol has become a very popular name.
Yeah. Now, where did you get the idea for that name? It's kind of unique, but maybe that's like a generational type name.
I have a friend of mine that I went to college with, and her name was Marisol. We were very close.
Oh, cool.
About a few years ago.
It's funny how people from your past kind of resurface in this hobby. You pull inspiration from, your real life stories and real life people. Well, it sounds like you have a whole universe going on in your story here. So where are you at right now? What's the news in the family?
Oh boy, news. Where do I begin? Well, Jasmine, the youngest out of the fifth generation of Sanchez Perez family members. She is now a champion in her own right.
So what does that mean exactly?
She's the baby of the family as far as the grandchildren.
All right.
And she wrestles for IIW.
Ah, okay.
And she is now IIW Women's Champion.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. We're friends with IIW here on the show. A lot of the belts that they have over there were designs that I did, so I'm always rooting for the folks that are putting in work over there. So congratulations.
Thank you.
To you and to Jasmine. Okay, so she's women's champion. What's next for her?
She's preparing for her first official defense for her title against Junko Suma. I believe that's how you pronounce her name.
Okay.
Right now, the two of them are getting ready because they have been, you know how they say, our fellows make the best of friends.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that's exactly going to work with this one. Because the two of them have been put together as a tag team to go against the former champion, Becky Marisol, and a newcomer to the company, Aria Knight.
And how did that work out when they were a tag team?
I'm in the process of working on Jasmine's 2 promos for this match. She's not really looking forward to it because Junko cost her a match.
Sure. Well, you would think she'd want revenge, right?
She wants revenge, just not against who they're having her go against right now.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. So if everything works out the way...
Does have to for Aria for her own various reasons, but right now her eyes are in a different direction.
Gotcha. So if everything works out the way you want it to, how do things look a couple months from now?
If everything goes the way that I'm planning, that I hope it goes, I see Jasmine carrying on her family legacy just like the ones that went before her.
Which is?
Strong, fearless, powerful.
Well, I'm looking at Sarai's Twitter page right now, and I had to turn off the sensitive content filter just to see what was in the images. The first word that comes to mind is not strong, but quite a pick base.
Oh yes, that was the original face for her when I first started.
Gotcha. Are all the sisters consistent with this type of content, or are they very different from each other?
As far as the sisters, when it comes to putting up the saucy content, that's mainly Sarai's category. That's her. That's her.
Okay.
Issa is more of the business minded.
Hmm.
And Marisol just likes to fight.
Well, that's got to be fun, right? That you can, depending on what mood you're in, you can kind of put on a different hat and you can write somebody different.
Yes. Yes. I always go by what I'm feeling in the moment. What I'm feeling at the moment, or if I'm listening to a certain type of genre of music, what that's making me feel at that particular time, and I go off of that.
Sure. Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned when I was writing. I tried to play a baby face, and after a while, I just kind of get tired of getting beat up by everybody. So
yes,
then I made like an ultra heel, and that was very therapeutic to kind of get out, and just be somebody completely different. That's kind of what efeding's supposed to be all about, right? Is to escape reality. And when you write the same character for so long, you start to feel like that you are the character. So it's nice to be able to switch it up.
Yes, exactly. That's what I believe. I strongly believe that efeding is about getting out that creative side that you don't get to let free in real life. Mm-hmm. It's all about doing your thing your way. And I've always been very vocal when it comes to creative license, especially in efeding.
So, what do you mean? Can you get into that?
Okay, what I mean by creative license in efeding is if you created this character, you created this environment, no one has any right to change that but you.
Sure.
And in my experience in prior years, a lot of efeds and fed heads have had this thing of, okay, you're in my fed, so this is what you're going to do. I've been put out of a lot of efeds because I spoke out against that.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. You work in somebody's company, and they want to dictate the culture, so. I could see how that could get you in hot water.
I think you should make this character look. This is how this should act. No. I created this character. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this character. You have no right to tell me how to portray this character. That would be pretty much like me telling you how to live your life.
Right.
I'm sorry. We're not going that route.
You're 100% right on that. People put so much energy into creating these characters and writing these stories. And it's so tempting to read somebody else's piece and to inject your own opinion on what you think they should do. I think that it's nice to get feedback from other people on, where the direction your character should go. But at the same time, it's like, you have, like you said, give me creative liberty to do what I want with the character. So,
yeah. My thing is this. As the fed head, you have the control over how the angle goes. Mm-hmm. That people in the angle portray themselves. That's if true. You go with the flow and let nature happen and let things go as they go, you will see that things work a lot better and the flow goes a lot better. And the story tells itself.
So what do you think it is that gets people involved in trying to tell you how to steer your story or to portray your character? What do you think the motivation is there?
Control, manipulation. Mm. Yeah. Because they're seeing something that they're seeing something they've never seen before. And some people tend to get a bit intimidated by that because they're used to a certain cookie cutter formula, as they say it. Everybody looks the same, dresses the same, acts the same, talks the same, lives the same way, and that's what they're used to. But let someone come in that lives life their own way. They do things their way. They live life their way. They love hard, they work hard, they play hard. Completely outside of the box. And either one or two scenarios is going to come up. Either that person is going to respect what you're doing, or they're going to have a total disregard for how you carry your way into your character, and they're going to try to manipulate it to where they have full control over it.
So what do you do in that situation where somebody's trying to control what you're doing creatively? What's your reaction? What do you do next?
There's actually two ways I go about it, and I'll actually do them both because that's just how it works for me. I'm going to pull you aside. I'm going to pull you off into DMs. Look, I get what you're saying, but this belongs to me. I came up with this idea. I came up with this concept. I came up with this character. I came up with this background. I came up with this backstory. Everything that is surrounding her or him, I came up with that. If you have an issue with how I'm doing it, be man or woman enough to pull me aside and talk to me privately. But don't tell me one thing and then go out on TL and tell a whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will out you. I will call you out. I will show proof. And I will pretty much, in no uncertain terms, let you know where to go and how to get there.
Well, you're preaching to the choir right now, and I would love to continue to go down this rabbit hole and get you to name names. But I don't want to do that. I wanted to try to keep things super positive here. And let's talk about some of your most positive experiences that you've had fedding. Who are the people that you've really enjoyed working with, collaborating with, feds that you've enjoyed writing for? Who does it right? Who should we go to if we want to have a positive experience?
The very first efed that I participated in, it was one called TWE, Total Wrestling Entertainment. But I haven't seen or heard anything from that, anything coming from them since 2015. But that was one of the very first efeds I ever joined, and I enjoyed it because it was a family atmosphere. There was no drama there at all. It was, if there was any drama, it was in character only. There was no out of character drama. Everybody helped everybody.
Was that an angle fed or was that competitive?
Because their fed closed down and they kind of drifted off in their own directions.
The question there was that an angle fed or was it a competitive fed?
It was a mixture of both, actually.
Oh, okay.
And it was so fun. And it gave me the idea of, like, one day if I decided to do an efed on my own, exactly how I wanted it to go.
Do you keep in touch with anybody that worked there?
I keep in contact with one person that I hadn't lost contact with since the Fed closed down. His he went by the name Big J, Hardcore Enigma. I'm not sure if he's still on Twitter anymore, but he does keep in contact with me on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm trying to talk him back in.
Why? Why would you do that? He got out. Let him go. Let him live his life.
Big J was one of the first people that I actually really got a chance to dive into a story with. And it wasn't like just a one-time story. Our story lasted for about a good 5-6 years.
Wow. Okay.
And we've been in at least 7 or 8 different feds together, including the one that I used to own.
So, what was the name of that fed? Go ahead and plug your work here.
It was Legacy World Wrestling. I owned it back in 2013, 2014 with someone named Brian Gunn. That was someone else I had a long-running writing relationship with. And I'm not sure where he is now. I met Brian coincidentally in a whole nother fed, which was called the IWWE.
Now, I'm sure some of the people who are listening to this show recognize some of these names. For a noob like me, these are all brand new, but I'll do a little Twitter snooping and see if I can tag anybody in this video here. So you ran Legacy World Wrestling, and how was that experience for you? How did you enjoy being a Fed head?
It was very eye-opening for me. Because for years I've always been the efed or not the fed head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And most fed heads also RP'd in their feds, and we all know how that goes.
Right. I hear you.
But when Brian and I opened LWW, I had something different in mind. I didn't want to be the fed head who was getting all the championships like most fed heads do.
Right.
I wanted to be fair.
Isn't that how all feds start out, though? Everybody says, I'm going to do it right, and it's going to be fair, and we're going to have integrity, and then 2 months in, it's, being held together with spare parts.
When I said I wanted to be fair, I meant I wanted to be fair.
Okay.
I held to that.
So what does that mean to you? What is fairness in efedding?
Fairness in efedding in my eyes is if you are a owner or if you are a part of management of the efed, you should not be actively efedding.
Amen.
You should not be efedding in your fed as an active competitor. If you're going to be in management, be in management. If you're going to be an owner, be an owner. But if you're going to be a competitor, be a competitor. You can't be all three.
How do you feel about a competitor also being a match writer?
As long as the match they're writing isn't their own.
Right. Yeah, that's something that I see often,
Hey, let me write my match. Ain't nobody going to know. We'll know. So for me, my fed head experience was I didn't RP in my fed at all.
Gotcha.
Whatever characters I did have in my efed were non-playable. You can use me in your promo, but I'm not fighting.
Right, or you might put them in as local talent just to give somebody an easy win or something. Yeah, I understand. Makes sense.
And we had Legacy up for about 3 years.
Really? That is longer than what you would expect for a fed, right? I think
it was a lot longer than I expected us to last, honestly.
Well, that's something to be proud of.
I had a lot of enemies.
A lot of enemies before the fed or after you started running it?
Right when I made the decision to create it and start it. Oh, here we go. Somebody else about to start an efed and make themselves champion. I don't have to make myself champion. I earn championships. I put in the work. I don't ask for favors. I don't kiss ass. I don't kowtow. I don't kiss feet. I don't do any of that. If it's something I want, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to put in every effort to prove that I deserve it. Any title in any fed I've ever been in, I've earned it. It was not handed to me. And if they tried to hand it to me, I turned it away. Because I believe in earning what I get. I earn what I get in real life. I earn what I get in efed life. It's always been that way, and it will be that way until the day I die.
Well, everything means a lot more when you do it that way, right?
It does, and that's what I teach my son.
And I teach my kids the same thing, that if something comes to you too easily, it doesn't have the same meaning. You don't appreciate it as much.
And it's going to leave just as easily as it came to you.
That's right. That's right.
If it comes easy, it's not worth it. Because everything worth it comes with a fight. If it just drops in your lap, put it down, walk away.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to teach people in this hobby. And especially if someone's new, they want to see that success right away. And this is something that I'm guilty of as well, is that everybody wants to be world champion, right? Not everybody can be. Everybody wants to win the Rumble and wants to win the tournament and wants to win the title, but there's only so many spots for that. So being able to hedge your expectations and really be realistic about what it's going to take and how long it's going to take to get to where you want to be is a skill that is developed over time, and some people don't ever develop that skill. You sound like someone who's very determined and very passionate about the hobby. So I think the perseverance that you show is what has rewarded you. Other people are, and me included, impatient, right? It's really hard to wait to get that big prize.
It is, and I'm gonna be as transparent as I can be right now. I'm an impatient person too. I'm a Gemini. We're known for being impatient.
Oh, really? Okay.
But patience has been. I won't say that I'm a completely patient person now compared to where I was when I first started in this. When I first started in e-betting in this hobby.
Yep.
I'm more patient than I used to be. As I used to be one of those ones that, okay, I'm here. What you got for me? But even when I first started, I knew I had to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I couldn't say that I was the best then. I can't say that I'm the best now. Because there's always someone better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always going to be in a constant battle to prove yourself. That will never change. Regardless of what hobby you take, or what sport you're in, or whatever industry you're in, you're always going to have to compete. You're always going to have to compete to hold your spot. You have to compete to get it. You have to compete even harder to keep it.
So let me ask you this question, and we've got like 10 minutes left here. So I want to make sure we have enough time. But what does your schedule look like now? What's a typical week look like for Leah?
I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 days a week.
Oof. Why?
I have a 10-year-old that's in the elementary school. He's in 4th grade, getting ready to go to 5th grade. Okay. Well, he's in next week. And it's a struggle when that alarm goes off at 6 o'clock to get him to get up.
Yep.
I would love to get up at 6:30, 6:40 in the morning. Because his bus stop is not even a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Mm-hmm.
But if I gave him one chance to get up at 6:30, he won't even wake up then. So we have to get up 6 to get him ready for school.
Okay.
And then 6 o'clock on Sunday because I cook at church.
Okay, so you get him on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Once I get him on the bus, I come home and I take my dog. I take our dog, our ESA dog, Cyrene, out for a walk. Which I've now learned a shortcut on how to do that. We have a tether in the back where we hook her up. Where we hook the tether up to her chain, and we just let her walk. We just let her run back and forth until she uses the bathroom, and then I bring her back in and put her back in her crate and let her eat.
There you go. Okay. So you're doing the house chores. You're doing your daily routine. Where do you find time to write?
Between bringing her back in from inside and going to the bus stop to get him. Between that time and the time I have to go get him, I'm pretty much free unless I'm doing laundry.
Okay.
And there was a point in time where I was in over 10 feds. And somehow managed to make time for them all. I've gotten a bit older. I don't have that kind of energy to go through that many feds.
Sure. So how many feds are you in now?
Right now, I am in 2.
You're in 2 feds. You're in IIW and
yes.
Can you share the other one?
XWF.
XWF. Okay. So 2 of the feds, 2 big time feds. I'll put it that way. Unlimited word counts in both of those. Is that right?
With it depends. It actually depends on with IIW there. I don't think there's a word limit, but with the brand that I'm signed on with XWF, there's a 1,000. There's a 1,000 word character count, and I tend to be a bit mouthy, and I tend to go over quite a bit.
Sure, I gotcha. Now, is that their Madness brand, or is that the Anarchy? Okay, yep.
I have a character on the Madness brand as well.
Okay.
I just kind of took a bit of time from this because this was one of those times where my impatience as well as my temper kind of caught the better of me, so I took a LOA until I'm ready to go back and actually really rip into somebody.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Take the LOA, right? And just
I'm on LOA as we speak.
Recharge, come back, re-energized. So who are you handling over there? You said in IIW you're handling Jasmine.
Yes, I have Jasmine, and I'm about to add Sarai.
And Sarai in IIW.
Mm-hmm.
And who are you handling in XWF?
Daniela and the reincarnation of Marie Laveau.
Okay, I got you.
Voodoo Queen New Orleans.
All right, so I just want to make sure that the folks listening to the show know your full body of work right now, so they can say, "Oh, I didn't realize that you handled that character too." That happens all the time. You never realize who's running who. Everybody's got more than one, you know.
I also have an account of one of my favorite wrestlers, who I hate she's no longer wrestling. She's now going into holistic coaching.
And so you role play as an IRL wrestler in efed? Is that what you're talking about?
I used to have her in efed.
Okay.
They were just Twitter-based feds. I have a account as Hanaya the Howling Huntress. I love her.
I'm not familiar with that one.
She used to be an Impact.
Okay.
They fired her because she wouldn't sell a 30-second match to Su Young.
Okay, well, was she right to say no about that?
She had a brief rivalry with Rosemary.
All right.
But I don't care what anyone says about her. I still love her.
There you go. Screw everybody else. The great thing about wrestling is that you get to pick who you cheer for. You get to wear the shirt. You get to watch the match. Who cares what anybody else says? We're all marks anyway. Okay, Leah, I want to wrap things up here in a couple minutes, but before we do that, I want to give you the stage. Do you have anything you want to promote? Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Anything else you want to say before we go?
I am in the process of finishing up finishing up an efed that I've been wanting to bring out for a long time. It has a hey, sweetie. It holds a place in my heart. It holds a dear spot in my little universe that I created along with a few other people.
Okay.
And the efed is called Northwest Wrestling Alliance. That was according to my backstory, that was where the family started the wrestling journey.
And that's a new Fed that's going to be opening up soon?
Yes, I actually have a Twitter account for it. I have the base site up, but I'm still trying to work with people as far as getting graphics, videos, and like having the site that can get like putting up a arcade video arcade, music arcade games. Pretty much like how I had Lexi set up.
All right. Well, we'll make sure that we link to.
You are, the less traffic you get.
We'll make sure that we link to you to the new Twitter page so we can get you some traffic. If people want to help out with the new Fed, what can they do to help you get across the start line?
I really need graphics.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get a starting roster of at least 20.
How many do you have so far?
No one.
Okay. Well, there you have it. If you're listening to the show, and it's a competitive Fed, is that right?
It's a combination of competitive and angled.
Okay. Well, competitive / angle Fed, Northwest Wrestling Alliance. We'll link to the video here. And anybody who's looking for a fresh start somewhere, looking to get off the ground or get in on the ground floor there, we'll send them your way, and hopefully we can get things going. But I think I think we're going to call it for today. Leah, thanks for coming by the show. It's been great to learn about your characters and kind of just talk about the hobby in general. You've been delightful. Thanks for coming by. And for those of you who are watching this show on YouTube, thanks for sticking around to the end. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and be excellent to each other. And we'll see you all down the road.